If you're someone who is tired of your day-to-day activities and you're looking for something new and something interesting where you can learn and grow as a person, you can also learn about dogs and dog behavior and cats as well. And you can learn about animal rescue and the things that are needed to make animal rescue possible. I would definitely recommend volunteering at Motley Zoo.
I think people should volunteer at Motley Zoo. They like animals. If they're curious about animals and they want one, but they're not sure how they would fit in their lives, I think anybody could benefit from it, no matter if you're with the dogs or with the cats. It is really like therapy in a way. They love you just for being there.
There are many animals who have an incredible spirit that make it through hardship, that if someone could just get them, from being a little down and out to either in a wheelchair or a surgery or even just, like time to build confidence and socialization. And that's exactly what Motley Zoo does. They're incredible little guys. And so I really, really appreciate that Motley Zoo gives the animals and people the opportunity.
Jamie and Motley Zoo, they've always been just in constant contact with us to let us know that they're there for us, whatever we need, and we're so grateful that we got hooked up with them. And I could tell they're just as passionate about rehoming animals into forever homes as we are, and I'm just really grateful for my involvement with Motley Zoo. I'm so thankful for them.
Every animal, every pet, children, they all come with their own history and their own challenges and their own fabulousness. And it's how do you bring that all together? And I think Motley Zoo helps to make sure that the challenges get addressed and that you're able to really find the solid positive qualities of what goes on and be able to build that relationship with your animals. So I think that's a good thing.
My name is Valerie Stewart. I started with Motley Zoo from the get-go. Jamie and I worked together with the Girl Scouts doing a pet food drive, and I just fell in love with her mission, rescuing dogs, and I wanted to be a part of it.
Hi, my name is Danny Stewart, and my family has been fostering dogs for 10 years, and I volunteer at the Motley Zoo Doggy Daycare.
So I had kids, and the kids loved animals, and when we found out that Jamie was starting Motley Zoo and they had adoption events, of course we wanted to go to the adoption events. And we'd see the little animals there, and they'd say, hey, how can we get an animal that we can keep at our house and foster? And so we asked about it, and we got involved that way. So the first dog started the fire, and we got her first home. Her new owner loved her and cried when she came to pick her up, and we're like, oh, well, we got to do that again. That was pretty fun. Fostering has been really wonderful for our family. It's taught the kids that they can care for a critter and love on a critter and give it everything and still give it up, still find a forever home for it.
It's really nice having the dogs around because they just constantly swarm you in love and you have to take care of them. So when they leave, it does hurt a little bit, but I'd say the overwhelming emotion is joy that this dog went from a position where it wasn't happy and it's going to be living in a forever home where it can find that happiness, and I think that is more important than anything I could be feeling.
When you meet the potential new owner and they come and they see the little dog and they start crying and they get emotional, you realize, oh, well, I was the temporary holder for this dog, and I was, giving the dog enough love and comfort so that it could find its forever home, and it feels really good.
Before we did a lot of fostering, I definitely had like my favorite breeds. After fostering for a while, I discovered that every dog has its own unique perks and they all are very special. So now my philosophy is that I don't care which dog I have because I love all the dogs. It's just important to me that I have a dog in my life because they are such a joy. I would absolutely tell people to foster through Motley Zoo because first off, it helps the dogs find forever homes, and that's very important because there's so many dogs out there that don't have a home, and each foster just helps with one dog at a time. And it's also a great experience for the person that is fostering because a lot of people get so set on just what their dog wants and what their dog needs, but every dog out there is different, and it's really important to know how to deal with other dogs, and fostering is a great way to learn that.
Squeezle, come here. Come here. You're not going to come here, are you?
I first got involved with Motley Zoo as a foster to cats and kittens. When I was a child, I loved cats. I adored them. They were my whole life. My last cat that I had, I was in elementary school, and my living situation didn't allow for pets until recently. I always had anxiety problems from a small child through adult. The anxiety would spread, and it affected all parts of my life at one point, and I was nearly a shut-in. I could go to the grocery store and a doctor's, and that was it. And even that was hard. I would try to leave the house, and I would have acute, really serious panic attacks I had no control over. And it was a miserable way to live. I did make it into therapy, and a little bit of medication included with that. And it had been a couple of years that I'd been doing my therapy, but it had kind of stalled, even though I'd made progress. That's kind of where Motley Zoo comes in. And I decided I just had to have a cat. And when the idea hit me, it was like a train, and I needed it so badly. And that's what really gave me the motivation to contact Motley Zoo, and it ended up being really good for me because I needed to take care of kittens, which included taking them to doctor's appointments, to talking to new people. It's sometimes easier to start taking care of somebody else or something else than it is to take care of yourself. So it was a really good transition, and it kind of opened up my world again. And I don't know, it's a priceless thing to be able to have a life back.
Hi, my name's Michelle, and this is Ryder. We adopted Ryder from Motley Zoo back in 2011. He had quite a story. He was turned into Paws, and he had been adopted out a couple times, and it hadn't worked out, and he got turned back to Paws. And I think on the third time he got adopted out, somehow he got out of his fence, and because he had been at Paws so much, that was his home. So he figured out a way to get back to Paws. And he sort of just circled the area and Paws for a few days. He wouldn't really let anybody approach him because he was a pretty nervy boy. And then they got a call a couple days later that a dog had been hit up on Highway 99, and it was Ryder. So he had to get his leg amputated. And that's sort of when Motley Zoo got involved, I believe, because the recovery took a long time and they didn't have the resources. So Motley Zoo reached out to me and they said, hey, we're looking for a foster home to kind of help him through his recovery. And we actually had a dog, our first dog we ever rescued also had gotten hit by a car and had a leg injury. So we felt like we were being called to help out Ryder. So Motley Zoo was great. They just got us all set up. They gave us lots of resources. They always were checking in with us to see how it was going. And then probably about a month or so into our fostering, I decided, well, we're in love. Once I knew more and more of his story, I could not see turning him back into a different family. And I do know that he has had an amazing life, and that is really thanks to Motley Zoo, because a lot of people, when black dogs are probably the least adopted out of shelters, and a three-legged black dog that's very aggressive towards men, the fact that they gave him a shot, and he's had an amazing, amazing life, and it's such a blessing, so I'm really thankful.
Hi, my name is Carol, and I was first introduced to Motley Zoo 3 years ago when I adopted this little guy. His name is Bill Murray. He was a part of the Zombieland group. To the best of our knowledge, Bill was bitten by a larger dog. He was bitten on the back, and he had, it's essentially a compound fracture. He was not treated. He was just left to drag. Finally, he was surrendered. And maybe the estimate is maybe 9 to 12 months after the injury. So when Motley Zoo got him, they bandaged him up, they got him a wheelchair, they really sort of took care of him physically, they got him evaluated, and then they got him comfortable. That was a huge thing. So I did a search on Pet Finder or something like that, and I saw Bill's picture, and it was funny, the funniest picture with the ears out and everything. He didn't have a mohawk at that time, but we got him one real quick. And I passed the application, and they asked me if I wanted an adoption meeting, and I said, great, yeah, sure. So I came, and Bill Murray was here. He was super comfortable with the volunteers and with his fosters, but he was wary of me, and I knew that he was a little anxious and a little fearful, and I felt like that was to be expected. But given that, Motley Zoo has this studio, and that he, has connected with people who are going to continue, I can continue to have him visit with them. I felt like it was going to be a really good match, and it turns out it really has been. It's been amazing.
Hi, I'm David Klein, and this is my wife, Siri Bleasner, and this is our dog, Yoda.
I work at Hope Link, and there was the center right next to Motley Zoo, so I had known about it as I drove past it. And so then I saw they were advertising for an adoption event at Petco, and so my son and I went down to go see what dogs that they had. And that is where we first met Yoda.
But so we picked him up in February on Super Bowl Sunday at a bar in Capitol Hill. And we thought he was going to be like our previous dog, which was a lab and was trained a certain way. And that first month was really hard. It was really hard. Is that he was kind of nipping at our heels. He wasn't taking commands. And so about after the first month on a Monday morning, Siri comes to me and says, we need to bring him back. So I came into Motley Zoo to drop him off at child care or puppy care. Puppy care, and I talked to Jamie, and I was in tears, and I said, Jamie, can you help us out? The dog isn't working for us. We need to bring him back? And so Jamie said, well, why don't you give us some time, and we'll see if we can get you a trainer. So within a couple hours, she called us and said, why don't you come in tonight? We just had our own private class, and so our son, Siri, and I all sat down, and the first thing they taught us was that we need to be different kind of parents than our other dog, and the first thing was he's a very smart dog, and he just needed to know what his place was in the pack. And so we did that, and it all turned out really well. So that was really important, that Motley Zoo gave us, from not only the dog but also the support systems to be really successful, and they continue to do that. So it's been 3 years, and you can see that this aggressive 3-month nipping at the heel dog, that's not who he is, and we just needed to be better parents.
Even in the first year, we were traveling a lot, and so it was really beneficial by the fact that they have dog sitters who were known to them and were volunteers with them, so they knew Yoda. So he would be able to go home with them on the weekends, and then he'd spend the puppy care there, so that was a nice addition we were able to have. When we had questions of how do we train him to be able to come to his name a little better and do those things, they were able to give us referrals of people they had worked with who they thought would be very good. And through all of that, so each time if we had a question, Motley Zoo was there, and their staff and volunteers were there for help and answers. So they've made it much easier in order to have a puppy and a dog that is well-mannered and well-behaved.
Alexis Coffey, and I've been volunteering with Motley Zoo for over 2 years now. I'm usually a dog agent, which means I'm observing the play for the daycare clients that come, making sure the dogs are happy and healthy, making sure that the room is clean and safe, and that the dogs are all having a good time and playing together nicely. What I like and what really makes me feel good is knowing that if I wasn't in there volunteering my time, that Motley Zoo would have to pay someone to be in there, and those funds would come out of animal rescue funds. It just feels good knowing that I'm contributing to the overall goal of animal rescue. I definitely believe that there are jobs in this world which need doing, for which there's no monetary compensation available. Some people are able to go and do these jobs, and some people are not, and that's okay. And because I am able to, I feel a duty to actually do it. I would definitely recommend volunteering at Motley Zoo. They make you feel so appreciated. They make me feel so appreciated. It just keeps me coming back for more.